Hello, welcome to this week's Express class. So for the next 4 or 5 weeks we're going to work on glutes, we're going to focus on strengthening them up, we're going to get away from the abs a little bit. So come on to hands and knees, we're going to do a warm up for the hips and then we're going to get into things then from there. So first on the hands and knees we're going to look at increasing our rotation. So hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips, pick the left foot up, twist it out to the side and then back in. Right foot up and out to the side, back in, left foot up and out and in. Right foot up and out, back in. So just look to increase the movement. So we've got an internal and external rotation, and we're working on our internal rotation with this. A little bit of side flexion into the spine as well. But we're just focusing mostly on the rotation, so get the foot out as far as you can. And one last one on the right side, and then back in. Perfect. We'll turn over onto the back then, and we're going to work on our external rotation. So we're going to bend the left knee, foot on the mat, right ankle across the left knee, right hand between the thighs, left hand around the outside of the left thigh, and then rest the head back and pull the knee in towards the chest. Perfect. So just gently loosening up the muscles before we start. Good. And then switch to the opposite side, right foot on the mat, left ankle over the right knee, left hand through the legs, right hand around the outside, and hug the left thigh, or hug the right thigh into the chest, stretching the left hip. So we've worked our internal and external rotation. Next we're going to look at our hip flexion. So the hip flexion, what usually happens is we drop the knee out into external rotation, so it pokes out to the side. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. So bring the right foot onto the mat, left knee into the chest, stretch the right leg onto the mat. As you hug the left knee in, make sure you can't see your left heel. So it should be hidden behind your left knee, and it means you're keeping your shin parallel to the midline of your body. So we're making sure you're getting true hip flexion coming in. If you start to see your heel, you're rotating your hip outwards, or starting to cheat and compensate for a tight hip. So hide that foot behind the knee and hug the knee in nice and tight to the chest. And then come back, and then right knee into the chest nice and tight. Again, when you look down, you shouldn't be able to see the heel, so hide it behind your right knee. And if anything, we're putting into internal rotation, but it's going to stretch the hip joint better for this flexion. Good. And then come back out. We'll stretch the glutes a little bit more focused at the end. But next we're going to do a little bit of imprinting. We're going to be nice today. So we're going to exaggerate the imprint, roll the hips back, lift the hips up, and then one vertebrae at a time, drop the spine down. So we're keeping the lower abs tense till the very end, and then we're relaxing. Arching the back, roll the hips back, lift the hips up nice and high, and then roll the hips back down, one at a time. Good. 3 more. Roll back, lift the hips up. Keep squeezing lower abs, pull the rib cage down, lower back down. 2 more. Good. So this is just about motor control. This is getting the body used to recruiting the glutes the way we want them to. Smoothly back down and not using the low back muscles to push yourself up. So squeezing the abs or getting the glutes to lift the body up. And then back down, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Next one, hug the left knee into the chest. In nice and tight. Again, hide that right foot behind the knee. Lift the hips and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep the knee nice and tight, shoulders back. 8, last 2, 9. As you lift the hips up, make sure the knee comes up over your chest and back down. Right foot onto the mat, left knee to the chest, drop the shoulders back, lift and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't worry if you're not getting too much height. With the knee into the chest, we're rounding the spine, so you won't be able to get the hips up as high. Last one. And lower back down. Perfect. Next we're going to do, we're going to work a little bit of the glutes on one side, the hip flexors, and we're going to get a static hold through the left side. So extend the right leg, lift the hips nice and high, hold the pelvis up there, slide the right foot out, back in. 2, so we're working a little bit of the obliques. 3, we're getting the glutes on the left side to extend the hip, and we're also preventing rotation. As you bring the leg out, it's going to want to drop the right pelvis down, so left glute is keeping that pelvis nice and high. Good. 3 more. 2. Hips nice and high, one last one. Back in. Bend the knees, rest the feet down. I'm going to switch to the opposite leg. So extend the left leg, lift the hips nice and high, rest the arms down by the side. Good hip extension through that right side. Thighs parallel to each other, slide the left foot out, and the heel leads the movement. 1, 2, keep the left hip level with the right. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one last one, 10. Bend the left knee and then rest the hips back down. Good. Next what we're going to do, we're going to turn onto our side. We're going to run through some of our side series, and then we're going to work a little bit into some side planks as well. So on the side, push the top leg down as far as you can, slide the left foot up and back down. 1, 2, so you lift the leg up just about 12 inches into the sky, 30 centimeters, back down. All the time push that heel as far away from you as you can. Good, 4 more. 3, keep the toes pointing straight forward or a little bit down if you want to get more work onto the glutes. And rest back down. Next what we're going to do, we're going to lift the leg up as high as we can. We're going to do 10 pulses. So again, push the heel down, lift the foot up, toes pointing straight forward, 10 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Rest the leg back down. Good. Next one, we're going to draw little circles with the leg. 10 small circles down low. 1, 2, keep the pelvis still. 3, 4, 5, 6. So make sure you're not rocking back and forward as you do this. Keep pushing the heel away from the body again. Last one. And rest the leg down. Good. We're going to lift up nice and high, and we're going to work that inner range of the glutes. Let's get the muscle nice and tight. We're going to try and build some control up nice and high with those circles. So push the heel away from the body again. Lift the leg up as high as you can, and circles again. 1, 2, all the time push the heel away. So we want to keep the pelvis as still as we can. We don't want it coming up and down. Good, circles up as high as you can. Don't let the foot drop down with each circle. And one last one. And then rest the foot down. Perfect. Last one. We're going to cycle forward. So we're going to lift the leg up so it's parallel with the floor, and then cycle forward. 1, 2, 3. Make sure the shin stays parallel to the floor. If anything, the knee should point slightly upwards as you come to the top of cycling forward. Make sure it doesn't point down. The glutes are switching off. I'm not getting the work into the right area. One last one. Perfect. And then rest the foot down. We're going to flip over onto the opposite side. So again, we're going to line the back up at the back of the mat. Feet down to the front of the mat. We're going to push the heel away from the body. Lift and lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, keeping the pelvis still so it's not drifting up towards your shoulders. You lift the foot up. Last one, and rest back down. Next one, we're going to do pulses up nice and high, and make sure the top hip doesn't come up towards your shoulders. So push the heel away from you as far as you can. Toes pointing forward. Lift the foot up, and 10 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. And then rest the leg back down. So it's starting to build a little bit of strength into the glute med because with the feet coming forward, both in its kind of inner or mid-range and its inner range, where the muscle contracts really, really tight and the fibers start to overlap a lot. We're going to build a little bit of control now with our circles. So I'm going to lift the leg up and little circles. 1, 2, whatever direction you want. 3, 4, 5. Just make sure the circles are nice and smooth and your pelvis stays as still as you can. So all the movement comes from the hip socket here. One last one and rest the leg down. Perfect. Next one, controlling the inner range. So leg up nice and high and circles again. Toes pointing forward. Lift the leg all the way up and little circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep the circles up nice and high. Each circle shouldn't be dropping down. You want it at the same height the whole time. One last one and then rest the leg down. Perfect. So next exercise is a cycling forward and back. And we're looking at building strength through that range that we naturally move through. So this lets us focus on the glute med. The next one starts to bring the glute min, the glute max into a little bit more in the piriformis. So we're working the hip a little bit more generally, but very functionally. So again, lift the leg up, shin is parallel to the floor, and cycle forward. 1, 2, 3. Remember the knee is pointing slightly up 4 at the top of that cycling pattern. Good, make sure it doesn't drift down here. 3 more. As you bring the leg up, bring it up along the bottom shin and then rest the leg back down. Perfect. So last one we're going to do is a little bit more strength for the hips. So it'll be nice. We're going to start from the knees today. We're going to lift and lower the hips up. We're going to hold at the top for 10 seconds. So pinch the shoulder blades back, chest is forward, straight line down the body, so don't have the knees slightly in front. We're going to lift the hips and lower. 1, 3, nice height at the top. Get the hips up. 4, so there's a straight line down through the spine between the legs. 6, 7, 8, have the elbow directly below the shoulder. 9, one last one. 10 and hold for 15, 14, 13, 11, 10. Keep the hips up nice and high, keep pinching the shoulders, chest is forward. 5 more seconds. 2 and 1 and rest the hips down. Flip over onto the opposite side again. So we're going to go for our side planks. So again, elbow slightly below the shoulder. We're going to straight line down the body. We're going to go for 10 lifts and a 15-second hold again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and high at the top. So straight line all the way down your body. 6, keep pinching the shoulders. 7, 8, 9, last one. 10 and hold. Perfect, so 15 seconds. Good, keep the shoulders together, chest is forward, chin is tucked in, so don't tilt the head forward and don't lift the head up or drop it down. Keep the body nice and straight, straight spine. Good, and then rest the hips down. Perfect. Back over onto your back. I'm going to stretch out the glutes at the end of that. So with those last few exercises, you should really feel the side of the hips here getting tight. So we're going to focus on stretching them out now. So we bring the left leg straight onto the mat, right knee towards the left shoulder, so come slightly across the body, right arm rests by the side, and the left elbow pulls the knee, pulls the knee towards the chest. So you might find a pinching in the front of the hip. If you want to get more of a stretch in the back of the hip, just bring the knee down a little bit further, and you'll feel a stretch into the glute muscles here. At the start, you're getting tightness into the joint, just pinching a little bit on the front. As you stretch it out, you get more of a stretch onto these muscles at the back. Good. And then switch sides, right foot onto the mat, left knee into the chest, right hand guiding it across the body. If you can get up towards the shoulder, great, you get a deeper stretch into the glute max and into the piriformis muscles, or the deep external rotators. If you can't, you might find it's pinching in the front of the hip, drop down a little bit lower, you get a bit more of a stretch into the muscles if the hip is tight. Good. Resting the left hand down. And just find it. You want to bring the knee up nice and high But you might find that having it down around waist height is where you feel the best stretch at the moment. But find the spot where you get it. Perfect. And then come back to the middle and we'll finish with that for today. So a nice easy task to get you started with the glute work. You might feel a little bit tight after this, but that's normal enough. We'll progress it on next week and make things harder. See you then. Bye bye.